Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Viewers, good day and welcome to what I would term as the first in a series of episodes that will be scrutinizing the good, the bad, and the ugly aspects of artificial intelligence, a deeply polarizing phenomenon viewed pretty much differently by different people. Many people in the past expressed worrying concerns about the possibility of the internet and social media posing gravely serious threats to our lives, and in many different ways. Right now, we are not talking about social media, we are talking about something that is far more sophisticated, which is feared to be quote unquote more intelligent than the humans that have created it. Is it even possible? We'll find out in the course of the program. Well, critics of AI believe that it has already made everyone lazy. Teachers and lecturers, students and journalists, just everyone in one way or the other depends on artificial intelligence for their respective tasks and assignments. Another serious issue is that AI could kill our critical thinking and problem solving skills. In an interview I recorded with Yvonne Ridley a few weeks ago, she's a British journalist, she told me that AI could, quote unquote, be a threat to journalism. But on the other hand, proponents of AI believe that it is here not just to stay, but to, quote unquote, revolutionize the world. According to a YouTuber by the name Muhammad Ibrahim, AI, quote, can analyze tons of data at lightning speed, spotting vulnerabilities that human eyes might miss. He continues to say, think of it as a 24/7 security guard that never sleeps. On the whole, according to Muhammad Ibrahim, AI can help you deal with cybersecurity threats before they even happen. What a sophisticated tool. Personally, in my own understanding, the whole world is struggling to get its head around the concept of artificial intelligence and whether or not it's catastrophic, precarious, and potentially dangerous in our lives. Well, to discuss this, I am joined by Dr. Abubakar-Sadiq. He is a researcher and a lecturer, I believe, at University of Surrey in the UK. Thank you very much indeed, Doctor, for sparing your precious time to speak with me on my show.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Briefly, before we dive deeply into the crux of the conversation, talking about AI, privacy, online privacy, and digital trust and other stuff like that, which I believe are part and parcel of the areas you look into in your research. Briefly, talk to us about yourself. Who is Dr. Abubakar-Sadiq? Briefly.
Okay. Once again, thank you for having me on this great show, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to share a little bit of what I know so far in my journey. I'm Abubakar-Sadiq, and I grew up in Kano. I schooled in Kano for my primary and high school secondary education. I started my bachelor's degree at the University of Kano in computer science. Unfortunately, I had to leave when there was due to the incessant strike in the early 2000. So I had to leave and start my bachelor's degree again in computer science, which I completed in 2011. Since then, I've been.
Why did you have it? Why did you obtain your second? Why did you obtain your bachelor's degree?
So I obtained a bachelor's degree in computer science from University of Wollongong, with a major in digital system security.
Where is that?
I did my
Wollongong.
University of Wollongong is an Australian university.
Excellent.
Okay. And I did my master's degree as well in this virtually the same field. I came back to Nigeria in 2012, and I did my NYC in Abuja, and I began working immediately. I worked for about 4 or 5 years before leaving again to pursue my PhD in computer science, and I completed it last year. While I was doing my PhD, I was also a consultant in a few IT companies. I consulted for Apple as a fraud prevention specialist, and I also consulted for some for all the giant IT companies, including Google.
Oh,
Upon completing that, I've been in the UK and I've been a researcher, a cybersecurity researcher in one of the British gold centers for national cybersecurity gold centers in UK. And I've been doing that for a couple of months. So I guess this is the little background I can give so far.
That's excellent, and this is pretty much motivational and motivating to hear. What I don't know, you're way older than me, but to hear a young person who is definitely in his youthful exuberance, achieving a lot of things, not only in Nigeria, but beyond. We wish you all the best, and we believe you have been contributing back to your own community. That's fantastic. But then one thing that I said in the introduction, which probably I missed, was that are you lecturing at University of Surrey?
Yes, I'm assisting in some lab sessions and also some courses.
Okay, good. So yeah,
the session is just starting. My main work is researching on there's a project which is called decentralized digital economy, which is a new project, mainly which involves it's mainly about privacy and trust in a decentralized way of digital identity. So that's what the project is about. That's my main area of research, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. Besides that, I also support in delivering lectures and assisting in lab works for a few undergraduate and master's degree programs as well.
That's fantastic. Right now, I know there are a lot of Nigerian academics, Nigerian professionals who have traveled to the UK and other European countries, and others are in the US. A lot of Nigerians, Nigerian communities are in the UK and US, and some are in Asia, producing a lot of knowledge and research-based contributions to those communities, while a lot of us are at home sort of facing different problems and that. What do you think has motivated this kind of exodus from Nigeria to other parts of the world?
So there are quite a lot of factors that contribute to this. So I must speak for myself and a few of my colleagues that we've been together with. Most people that actually obtain their degrees, or so to say, their PhDs abroad, in one way or the other, are willing to come back to Nigeria and contribute the little they've learned to the development of the country. Most of us have that at the back of our mind, and that we still have it, and we hope to achieve it very soon. Unfortunately, for us to be able to do that, we need there's something we call a dream, and there are factors that enables you to achieve that dream. So the enabling factors aren't that there in Nigeria, so to say. So we have tons of problems. Every society has their own problems, but the little that support that you will need are not there. So there's little you can do as a person, as an individual, to make things work in your own way. So you've been out of Nigeria for a couple of years, you've acquired the skills, and you've been vetted by the so-called big shots in your field that you are capable of undergoing or contributing to the field of knowledge in your own field. So you have that at the back of your mind, but for you to make that achievable, you need the support, at least the support of your environment that you want to be part of. If you cannot get that support, it's going to be very difficult for you to make that move of coming back. So I believe the support is not there. That's why most people are finding it difficult to either go back, or the ones that are back, they tend to move away from Nigeria.
Mhm. But you guys have the dream of coming back to support your own people, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
But now that you are still there, of course, doing a lot of achieving a lot of things, doing a lot of work, do, do you have any ways that you are giving back to the community that has raised you, that has produced you?
Um, yes, so far, me and my team, we are coming up with some initiatives whereby we could train, okay, we could train people and give the general public awareness on threats of the trends of the technological trends that are coming up and the threats that are associated with this um, trends.
Mm.
So we have the organization,
Mhm.
and hopefully before the end of this year we'll be rolling out some programs to create awareness for the general public and students from the university, from from computer science based and information technology, software engineering, cybersecurity, and some engineering students as well. We'll be enrolling them in free tutorials for them to have industry experience of what it takes to put what they've learned in their respective courses, to put them to work, and what they should expect in the real world in terms of information technology.
Excellent. Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. You're talking about digital awareness and digital literacy.
Yes,
This is absolutely fantastic.
absolutely.
We are looking forward to the rollout of this program and how it's going to impact the people. Let's now dive deeply into the crux of the conversation. AI has been one of the most pronounced word in the world for a few years, and has been one of the most controversial topics debated, discussed, analyzed, written about, and so on and so forth. First of all, what do you have to say about AI? Is it like a problem or a solution to the problems that we have?
So, in the short time, AI is a solution to a problem that we have. In the long term, it's going to be a catalyst to a problem on its own.
What do you mean?
So, let me put it this way. So, in the short term, let me repeat it. In the short term, AI is a solution to the problems that we have. In the long term, it's going to create possibly more problems than it has solved.
So what does that mean? Does it mean that, okay, we are approaching what they call a doomsday scenario or something like that, the end of the world, the end of the mankind, and AI is going to kill all of us?
No, I wouldn't say so. What it means is that at the moment, AI is used to solve a lot of problems that might arise in terms. If you look at software engineering as a profession in the IT world, AI is being used as a catalyst for a lot of professionals. In a way, it's actually sending a lot of people back home. People have been laid off for the codes that they've generated themselves. Google has experienced that. The engineers that actually developed the AI tools are being laid off and are being replaced by the AI tools that they've developed. So a lot of customer service jobs AI will be replacing a lot of customer service jobs globally. Just last week, another AI company released a tool that is used to respond to voice calls. So when you make telephone calls to a company, you don't need it to be answered by a human being anymore. An AI tool can actually get you the response that you need and will be able to guide you through to solve the problem that you need to resolve. So if you look at array of areas, AI is becoming very dominant and very useful to that. Now,
and problematic
in the long run, this is going to...
And problematic
Yes,
as well,
yes,
because
yes,
the example
absolutely.
that you have cited with AI answering phone calls from customers, it means more people from the telecommunication companies will lose their jobs, especially those at the
Absolutely.
customer service desk. those who answer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's the second phase that I want to address. So the second phase is that it will create a lot of joblessness among people. So people will begin to lose their jobs. Now, if you have people if you depend on people to proofread the work that you've done, you have a lot of AI tools that can actually do that for you in a very fast and I will say in a very fast way. I wouldn't say effective, but at least in a very fast way. You still need a human being to go through them. If you need to make phone calls, you don't need 10 or hundreds of or thousands of people across globe to answer that phone call for you. AI tool is going to do that for AI tool is going to do that for you in an easier way, with you spending just a less as a company. So it's going to create a lot of people are going to lose their job. So if you look at that, it raises also a lot of concerns. So first, if you look at the privacy issue, besides people losing their jobs, besides people losing their jobs, it's going to create another problem for the government. If a lot of people are working and they're paying tax on the income that they generate, that is not going to be available anymore. The government will not earn money in terms of tax from the people that they earn money. So there's going to be reduction in revenue. So if you have hundreds of people that are working for a company and each one is being paid and the government get tax on the income that those people are being paid for. So those people are no longer working because the AI tool is replacing them. You don't have income, wages paid to those people, and you don't have tax from those incomes that are paid to people anymore. So the government loses that income. The government loses that tax. That tax is not there anymore. So the revenue generation of that aspect for the government is not there anymore because the AI is replacing them. That's one. So if you look at another aspect, if you look at the privacy
I'm sorry to cut you off, Doctor, which means, I'm sorry, I hope you will not be able to forget the next point that you're going to make.
Go on.
This one is important. Does it mean that governments need to be authoritarian in nature in controlling the AI so as not to face those catastrophic problems of losing the tax and joblessness?
Absolutely. So a lot of countries are rolling out regulations to control what AI initiatives are being used for. I know that the British government is rolling out regulations on the use of and control of AI. The Nigerian government also rolled out a framework recently, I think last week or early last month, which is to look into the development in AI trends and I like that. And I also know that in the Middle East, UAE is also rolling out a regulation on the use of AI and data privacy, to be precise. So absolutely, in any trend, for the trend to respect the laws of the land, there's a need for government to put in respective regulations to curtail the effect that will arise from the use of these technologies. Yes,
definitely.
Absolutely.
Controlling is important. But Doctor, I don't want to drag it into the debate about authoritarianism and democracy. Some people would say it's undemocratic for governments to control social media, artificial intelligence, and technology as well. Does that make any sense to you?
Well, it depends on on how you are looking at it. So let's look at what is the government actually controlling. The role of the government, the primary role of the government anywhere in the world, is to protect the lives and property of its citizens. Okay, life and property of its citizens. Prior to the introduction of AI technology and stuff like that, let's look at Nigeria as a country. The constitution that we are using, the 1999 constitution, gives prescribe the privacy of its citizens in section 37. So it actually mentions that citizens' privacy should be respected. So the constitution actually mentioned that, but at that time, the trends in technology wasn't available. So now that we have it, the government brings another regulation, which is the Data Protection Act, which specifies what is personal data, how personal data should be protected, how it should be used, and how it shouldn't be used. So if you look at it all the government is saying is that we want organization, you or individuals or any entity that is involved in the processing of personal data of Nigerians to respect the right of those individuals. I don't think there is anything. I don't think there's too much to ask for. So the only thing the government is saying is that everybody has a right to privacy, and that right only stops when you begin to infringe on another person's right. So what the government is saying is, if Sadiq is a company and I'm processing data that belongs to Nigeria, so I must respect their right, or I must give them the liberty to determine how they want their data to be processed. So I don't think that is too much to ask for.
Okay, that's fantastic. So let's now go back to the issue we were talking about. You talked about people, the problems or threats posed by AI. Number one, people losing their jobs. Number two, government losing taxes from its own citizens. Number three.
Yes. So number three, when you also, again, it brings us back to the privacy issue. So when you have AI tools, mostly you have when you have AI tools processing large amount of data. Let me break it down this way. So when you have AI tool processing large amount of data, you're talking about cloud services processing this data in a remote location. That alone raises the issue of privacy in the processing of data, because there is also a part of the data protection regulation which is the widely known data protection regulation, GDPR, and the NDPR, as we have it in the case of Nigeria, which talks about the cross-border processing of personal data. So if your personal data is processed in cross-border, it raises a question about the privacy and the interoperation of your data as a citizen. So that is another factor that needs to be checked in terms of artificial intelligence, in terms of how data is being processed, where is this data stored, how is this transferred, who gets hold of it, if anybody is involved anywhere and involved in the process of this data. So there is a lot of nuances that need to be taken care of in processing of data with regards to the emergence of AI and other trends in technology.
Okay, doctor. When you say data, do you mean personal information? As in, when I am logging into Facebook, I have to write my name, my date of birth, sometimes preferences, hobbies, sometimes where I work, where I've studied. When you say data, do you mean all those personal pieces of information?
So, data is so the easiest definition of data is any piece that can be used to identify a person or an entity. Any piece. Your name is your data, your date of birth, your location, your IP address, your MAC address, anything that can be used, your account number, your email address, anything that can be used to identify you, represent your data. So if that data is to be processed anywhere, you have the right as a person under the GDPR and under the NDPR to know how is the data processed, where is it being transferred to, who processes it, who stores it. That's not too much to ask for your privacy. It's your right as a citizen, and it's your right as an individual under the world, the global acceptable laws of human rights.
But the problem is that we don't know where those pieces of information about us is stored. We don't know who processes it, and we don't know what they are using with it. There was a time before 2020, I think that was around 2016 or 17, when Facebook came under scrutiny and criticism for selling personal information of people, and it involves a company called Cambridge Analytica. And there was a lot of things. The Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, was questioned, I think, in the US Congress or in the UK Parliament or something like that. Should we worry? Because all of us are online on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have email addresses and so on. Now, look at us on Zoom. Should we be worried?
Yes, we should be worried. And that's where the government needs to come in to save its citizens. So, I didn't want to mention Facebook, but since that has been raised, we can talk about it a bit. So, Facebook has been under scrutiny even in Nigeria. 3 months ago, the government, Nigerian government, fined Facebook about $220 million because of the breach of data, citizens' data. The issue that the government found was that citizens' data is being processed outside the country without their consent and is being shared across the platforms that are owned by Facebook. Sorry, platforms that are owned by Meta, which includes WhatsApp, Facebook, and other companies. That Facebook, they believe Facebook uses the data of users that is with them and sells them to sister agencies, sister platforms, or business partners. So, should users be worried? Yes, users should be worried. That's why this is one of the aims of our organization, company, to create awareness for people. So users should be aware. Users should know what. Users should be aware of the services they use. That's number one. And users should be aware of the kind of security methods that are used by those services. Again, users should be fully aware of what they share and whom they share their personal data with. If you are sharing your photos, if you're sharing your audios, if you're sharing your account information, if you're sharing your emails, you should be fully aware of who you are sharing those information with and the extent to which your information travels.
But WhatsApp is
and lastly, WhatsApp is encrypted. Yes, I agree with you. WhatsApp is encrypted. There's end-to-end encryption with WhatsApp, but you have no control over what is shared afterwards. If you share a personal image with a person, you have no control of the dissemination of that personal image.
I understand. Yeah.
So in sharing personal details, there are many. I believe this might be too much for people who are not technologically inclined, but users can also encrypt their personal details when they share with a third party for a single use or stuff like that. So this is one of the things that we want to do, is that we want to create awareness for users how they could protect themselves when they're sharing their personal data.
Yeah. I think and I hope you will have time to come back on the show next time whenever you are available to talk about, to balance the equation, the benefits that AI comes with, because we have spent about 30 minutes or so talking seriously about the dangers. Doctor, will you be available to come back someday soon?
I'll be more than happy to be with you.
Thank you very much indeed. So finally, this final question in 2 minutes. How should we protect ourselves?
How should we protect ourselves? So the main thing is that you should understand the kind of platform you're using. The platform and the device that you're using. If you are using Facebook and you're using your device to log into Facebook, the first thing is that you should at least ensure there are 2 levels of security to access your device. And you should be wary of the kind of passwords that you use, where you use them. Likewise, if you're accessing any social media account, people should be very cautious of the kind of password combination that they use. So there are a lot of writings and warnings on the kind of password. I'm sure NIDA and NGSAT always create that awareness that you shouldn't use your date of birth combination. You should use a lot of upper and lowercase character, alphanumeric characters. Use random combinations. Avoid using your name, your date of birth, your surname, some stuff like that. So be very cautious. And if possible, if you are technologically inclined, you could use a second factor authentication to enforce the access to your device or to your account or whatever the case may be. So I think that is very that will protect people to an extent, I think.
Yeah, this is very much useful, and inshallah in our subsequent episodes Doctor will be able to talk us through other important measures that we should take to protect ourselves and make good use of these AI platforms and social media platforms. Doctor. Thank you very much indeed for speaking to me on this program. And I really appreciate you taking time to speak to me, and I really appreciate sharing this invaluable knowledge and experience and expertise with me and my viewers, inshallah, and listeners. What can you say about this interview?
Thank you so much. It's a great opportunity to actually shed light on what is happening, and I'm very happy to share the little I know with people and to give some advice and encouragement to people who need it the most in our society.
All right. On behalf of everyone that has contributed to the production, Dr. Abubakar-Sadiq, thank you very much once again, and see you very soon. Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Have a great one. Thank you. See you later. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.